Each piece of candy represents an active role in muscle contraction. The mini orange M&Ms represent nerve impulse, the blue M&Ms represent acetylcholine, the yellow Skittles represent calcium ions, the green M&Ms represent troponin, the nerd rope represents tryptomyosin, the red sour punch rope represents actin, the Hershey's bar represents myosin filament, the gumdrops represent tryptomyosin heads, and lastly, the brown and red M&Ms represent ADP and ATP. As the nerve impulse goes towards the end of the nerve releases acetylcholine. Once the acetylcholine crosses the synapse, the cytoplasmic reticulum releases calcium.
Those calcium ions then attach to the troponin and the tryptomyosin.
The calcium causes the actin to move and expose the myosin binding sites.
Myosin head and ADP extend to the binding site and releases all of its stored energy by binding to actin.
Energy releases, myosin changes shape and shrinks the sarcomere.
Once the energy is spent, the phosphate and ADP unbind from the myosin, and the ATP unconnects the myosin from the actin strand.
Again, it forms the ATP into ADP and a phosphate, and they migrate back down to the starting position and await for new calcium ions to reopen its bonding site.
The calcium pumps recollect the calcium ions floating around, and it triggers the calcium ions to unbind from the tropamine. When this happens, the tryptomyosin changes shape and falls back into place, and the